What's up, world, YouTube? How y'all doing out there? Right now it's morning. Start my day off. Got me a good run in. I feel excellent. And at the moment I'm in a different country. I'm in Laos, the country Laos, right next to Vietnam. And the city that I'm in is called Tha Ket. And Laos is a really beautiful place. It's my first time here. I've never been here before. Been here for a few days. And it's very natural. It's a little bit underdeveloped. It still has its innocence. A lot of it is untouched, except like the little pockets of city. But it's really nice. It's really nice. And like, so I've only been to 2 cities so far, but the people kind of reflect this innocence that I'm talking about the land being untouched and still, you know, being pure, the nature still intact. And the people kind of represent that. They kind of reflect that. And what I mean by that is, like, I haven't really had any like in-depth conversations, discussions, and interactions with the people because of the language barriers. But I have interacted with the people, and like through this type of innocence that I think I'm perceiving through them, I get to see like a different part of myself. I get to see myself in a different way that I don't really get an opportunity to see when I am in other environments that I'm used to. But yeah, it's really beautiful here. Of course, it's in the tropics, and it's tropical nature, and I'm just really enjoying this opportunity that I've been having, that I've basically given myself to see this, to see this part of the world and see this side of life. And yeah, that about that purity that I was talking about through them, looking into their eyes and seeing how they see me and understanding myself better that way. That's kind of what I'm gonna explore in this video, kind of what I'm gonna talk about here. And basically the foundation of this video, the ideas that this video are gonna build from are from astrology and psychology. And this video is about spirituality. The main topic here is spirituality. And I'm going to reference the Tree of Life, which is knowledge from the Kabbalah, as I talk about this. And so that you know what you're getting yourself into, here's like the breakdown of this video and how it's going to flow before you go any deeper off into this, not knowing what you're going to be seeing. Alright, so first I'm going to talk about astrology. I'm going to talk about the moon and the sun. Well, I'm basically going to review for the people that don't really know much about this or who need some brushing up, and so that you can understand me and follow me better. But I'm going to talk about the sun and the moon and the energies that they possess and like what they represent. And then after I talk about the sun and the moon, I'm going to talk about how the sun and the moon come together, and that energy that's created when they come together and how that energy affects us. And when I refer to the sun and the moon, I'm going to be referring to the moon as like a psychic energy, and I'm going to refer to the sun as like a spiritual energy, or energy that reflects our higher self. And after I talk about this, about how those two energies come together and how those energies affect us, I'm going to talk about some ways, about 3 different ways to understand and tap into the energy of the moon, the psychic energy of the moon, in order to open those channels to energies to our higher self, that spiritual energy that is associated with the sun. Okay, so that's what that's the breakdown or the rundown of this video. So let's get started. All right, so let's start with the moon and the sun. Let's start with the moon in astrology, in terms of astrology. Now, the moon in astrology is associated with things that are very nurturing to us. It's like a motherly energy. It's a feminine energy. And it's things like desires, wishes, needs, hopes, dreams. It's also associated with things like imagination and intuition, things that are highly personal to us. And it's also, the moon's energy it's a highly subconscious energy. And subconsciousness is like a dominant thing in our lives, because much of our lives is ran through subconscious programs. And subconscious programs are basically automatic programs, the things that we do automatically without thinking, the things that are not conscious, the things that we don't put direct energy and focus into, and they just kind of happen by themselves. And much of our lives is created this way. Much of our lives is moved through just these subconscious programs. And we live this way because it's safe, it's convenient, and we just basically use what we've learned, and we just use that to just get us through life. And this type of energy, or this type of this subconscious route that we take, is related to the moon. Now, the sun, the energy of the sun. The energy of the sun is, some words that are associated with the energies of the sun is the expression of love, the expression, like expression. Expression is the main word here, but the sun is related to love, it's related to creativity, it's passion, enthusiasm, manifestation. And with the sun's a highly conscious energy, and it's very intentional. Unlike the moon. The moon's subconscious energy, and it's unintentional, but it still makes things happen. But it's kind of unintentional. It's kind of passive. But the moon is not. The sun is not really passive. It's a highly intentional energy, and it's very conscious. So that's and with the sun, the sun's energy is, in my opinion, has far more potential than the moon's energy. But we utilize the moon's energy the most, by far the most. The energy of the sun the potential is huge, but we don't utilize it. I guess because it takes so much work to keep focus going. I guess people would rather take the route of least resistance, the subconscious route, where it's easy, it's simple, and things are kind of laid out for you. Now, that's the sun and the moon. So now I'm going to talk about how the energies of the sun and the moon come together, and how these energies affect us. And as I talk about this, I'm gonna reference the Tree of Life from the Kabbalah to help illustrate my thoughts with this. And right now I'm about to show you a diagram that'll help you follow this and visualize in your mind like what I'm talking about in respect to the Tree of Life, and how it comes into play with the sun, the moon, and those energies. So before I show this diagram, it's basically going to be the Tree of Life. The Tree of Life has 10 different sephiras, and of course these sephiras reflect like different aspects of us and our connections with everything else, with the universe. And yeah, let's just take a look at this this picture that's of the Tree of Life, and I'll come back and finish up what I'm talking about. So here we go.
Okay, take a look at this. Look at this diagram. This is the tree of life from the Kabbalah. And if you notice, there are 10 different sephiras, and these sephiras represent different aspects of us, whether it be thinking, spirituality, physicality, various aspects of us and how we connect to the rest of the universe. For the remainder of this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 sephiras that are at the bottom middle. And the bottom sephira, as you can see, it has number 10 on it. It is called Malkuth. And Malkuth is the sephira of the physical world. And the earth resides within this sephira. And the sephira above Malkuth is called Yesod. And Yesod represents the psychic world, or our psyche. And the moon resides within this domain. And the sephira above Yesod is Tifereth. Tifereth represents the spiritual world and also our higher selves. So these are the 3 sephiras that I am referring to as we go further into this video in our discussion. So if you have any thoughts or questions, or you need to remember, just come back to this diagram.
Okay, as you just saw, I just laid out a diagram for you. It's the tree of life, and I just showed you the tree of life so that you can follow me throughout the rest of this video as I talk about how to gain access to your higher self by opening the channels of the moon. And the tree of life is related to this, and I'll explain why. Here's why. Now, the bottom 3 middle sephiras that you just saw in the diagram of the tree of life, the bottom sephira is called Malkuth. Malkuth is the domain for the physical world. Here, this is the physical world, and to me, the physical world is what me, you, most people assume to be real, or feel is real, or perceived to be real. That's the physical world. And the earth, this planet, is within the domain of Malkuth. It's the physical world. And the next sephira above Malkuth is Yesod. It's a higher sephira. And Yesod is highly psychic energy, and it deals with the psyche, with a lot of our thinking. And the moon resides within the sephira Yesod, and I just mentioned to you about the energies of the moon. And the moon is highly psychic. It's very intuitive. And above Yesod, the next sephira above Yesod is called Tifereth. Tifereth is the spiritual part of us, and it's our higher selves. It houses our higher selves, and the sun resides in Tifereth because the sun is a higher consciousness type of energy. So again, we have the earth, the physical world, we have the moon, the psychic part of us, and we have the sun, the spiritual part of us, our higher self, higher thinking. Now, if you notice, the moon is closer to the earth, or us, us in our physical form. So the moon and the earth have a very intimate relationship with one another. And I just mentioned to you about some of what the moon represents and what it stands for. The moon's all about comfort. The moon's all about autonomy, in us just maintaining ourselves and staying very stable. And the energies of the moon can get really confusing sometimes, because a lot of the moon is our wants, needs, wishes, desires, hopes, and dreams. And a lot of this stuff is, of course, highly subjective. And what we think we need, or what we think we want, may really be just really not for us. We may not really need it at all. Maybe it's even detrimental to us, and it's really easy to get it. It's really easy to get those things confused, and a lot of it can be ego driven. It could be really selfish. It can be really destructive, but yet it makes us feel comfortable, so we assume that it's essential for us, and we can get easily blinded by these sensations or the way it makes us feel, and it can block us from bigger, higher knowledge, or it can block us from the higher version of us and spirituality. It can block us from that other Sephira, because we really get wrapped up in the comfort of everything, that moon energy, what's inside of us, and we really get caught up in that and forget everything else outside of us. So that's how those two energies interact with one another. The moon energy keeps us safe, but it can also restrict us from higher thinking, spirituality, our higher selves. Now I'm going to talk about how to remove these restrictions, how to open these psychic channels of this moon energy, so that we can easily have access to our higher selves, access to higher knowledge, spirituality. And the three methods, or the three ideas that I'm gonna bounce off you, are highly psychological, but they're highly spiritual as well, because everything's tied together. But okay, now the first idea I have for you is being awareness. Like, if there's a problem, if you have a problem, and you don't know you have a problem, you can't fix it. You have to know in order to begin working on something. You have to know that it exists, or that it's even a thing. And I'm a former fighter. I'm a former fighter, a former combat athlete, and I did this for over a decade. And a common saying within these circles is that it's the blows or the strikes that you don't see coming are the ones that do the most damage, the ones that hurt you, the ones that get you. And I think that's a really good metaphor to explain awareness. When you're aware, when you know what's possible, you know what may happen, or you even see it coming, you're able to deal with it much better. You're able to handle it. You're able to maybe turn it into something really special, versus it overcoming you and really catching you off guard by surprise. So awareness is really important, and just talking about it, having this conversation, is awareness. And that's a huge first step, because your subconscious is always working on ideas, even if you're not consciously involved in it. Just by once the seed's planted, your subconscious is going to get to work on that, and it's going to grow it anyway. So awareness is really important. And number two, how do we gain awareness? Where does awareness come from? Of course, we could do active things like read a book, read psychology book, learn how psychology works with all people collectively. But I think more importantly, we can study ourselves and learn our own personal psychology, because it's yours. It's yours, and you deal with you all the time, and you really need to master yourself first. So learning about yourself, self-study, self-mastery. And a couple of ways to do this is to basically, you could do meditation. Meditation is a good way to get in touch with yourself, but you could also be very mindful. Mindfulness is also meditation, but it's like meditation, being in a meditative state as you go about your life, even when you deal with other people. And when you're in this state, you're basically you basically act as an outside observer to yourself. You're observing yourself and how you interact with the world from a different point of view. You're watching yourself and you're studying yourself from the outside, and you'll be surprised at what you get, because what you see from yourself, from inside of yourself, you miss a lot. And even watch yourself from the outside interact with other people, and you'd be surprised at what you get from that. Some very different things, I think. And yeah, by studying that and mastering yourself, you can learn the interworkings of your own psyche. And that's a really good step in the right direction to understand how to open your psychic channels to gain access to your higher self, by knowing how these channels work. And lastly, number 3, how to open up these channels. Another way to open up these channels is by cleaning these channels out. What do I mean by cleaning these channels out? Now, in a previous video I made called Clouds Blocking the Sun and How to Move Them, I referenced a book called The Splendor of Tiferet, the Yoga of the Sun, and it talked about purifying yourself so that you get the energy, you get the actual sun energy, the physical sun energy, and you get the spiritual energies that the sun offers as well. The sun is a highly spiritual force, and you do this by cleaning out. I mentioned cleaning out your temple, and I'm going to elaborate more now what I meant by cleaning out your temple. Now, I just got finished talking about the moon energy, and moon energy is highly psychic, highly intuitive. It deals with the subconscious, and the moon energy is about our needs, wants, wishes, desires, hopes, wishes, dreams, things like this. And again, a lot of these things are ego-driven and selfish. And basically, what I'm saying is, you would have to do a lot of soul searching, looking deep inside of yourself to analyze and figure out if your needs, wants, desires, wishes, hopes, and dreams are ego-driven. Are they on a low vibrational type of energy, or are they real essential needs? Are they going to help you? Are they going to take you higher? Are they going to facilitate your life, facilitate you? You just basically have to soul search and look inside of yourself and answer that question for yourself. But if those energies, those channels are on a low vibrational setting, then they won't be able to receive the high vibrational energy that is available to you from your higher self and from the spirit world, from the sun, from Tiferet. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts on how to gain access to your higher self and be in line with your spiritual path. And thank you so much. I really appreciate you dropping by. Feel free to drop your thoughts here in the comments. I love to read them, and they can help someone else. And we can all learn and grow from one another. That's what this is all about. And please like, share, subscribe, browse my channel, check out my other stuff, see if it's up your alley. Thank you so much. I love you. You love you as well. And I'll see you next time. I'm gone.